Salutations everyone, my name is Rafael Fernandez. I'm currently enrolled in music production here at Full Sail University. I'm also the founder and CEO of an independent game and media development company. Today I'll be interviewing a leading artist in the industry. Welcome, Geoffrey Ernault. Thank you for taking the time to join me today to discuss your views on art in today's industry.
Yeah, thank you. No problem. My pleasure.
I'd just like to begin by saying I really like your work. I'd like to share with everyone listening and watching your website. It's at cargocollective.com/exphrasis, EXPHRASIS. My first question for you is, what do you see as the role of visual arts in society today, particularly in your profession?
I believe the role of visual arts today has a strong link with entertainment, especially as a concept artist. People love watching movies, playing the games, etc. They enjoy seeing images that spark imagination and creativity in their minds. And if you think about it, visual arts are everywhere, from the ad you see in the metro or street to very detailed monsters you see in horror or sci-fi movies. It's our role to come up with new and interesting ideas and visuals every day to keep that imagination flowing in people's minds.
Well, today we have new communications and media technologies that make imagery almost instantly available. A little while ago, it wasn't like this. Do you believe that this is having a positive or negative influence on your field and your industry?
I think it does both because it has a positive effect in a way that you can access a lot of different images. If you want to Google an artist that someone told you about, you can access these images very quickly. But at the same time, there's so much images online that if you want to discover a new very good artist, sometimes it can be hard because you have access to so much images, for example, on DeviantArt, that it's sometimes hard to find a very precise artist that does something unique and very good, because you're a bit forced to see hundreds of thousands of images that are done by amateurs and that have an exposure that maybe they do not deserve. At the same time, I think another negative effect of this is that this is so easy to access so many things. Sometimes you don't control what you're exposed to, and that can, again, come for ads or movies or whatever, and sometimes you're exposed to a lot of stuff that is not really interesting and you don't really have a choice to know that. It might be on DeviantArt or other website or Google, whatever. And a lot of people consider, for instance, what is on DeviantArt as arts or a very good level, but they're not aware of what is done at a professional level.
I really understand where you're coming from on that, especially as being an independent developer. I'll be looking for, an artist in particular for a certain job. I'll really have to spend some time searching for them.
Not even online. I mean, even if you go outside and if you ask someone if they know a lot of master artists that are still alive and working in the field, almost no one knows about them.
Yes, artists seem to have a lot lower profile than they used to, just kind of outside of the entertainment circles.
Yeah, I think that's because of the easy access to the tools and also to the sharing media as we have. For instance, someone can easily go buy a digital tablet or oils or pen and paper, whatever, and share it online. And that's a very easy thing to do. So when you tell someone that you're an artist, something they're not maybe going to see the extent of that. They don't maybe understand that when you're telling them that you're a professional artist working on big projects or whatever, if that's the case, of course.
And well, speaking of images, what popular images do you see that are frequently repeated throughout your industry?
I think we have a lot of the common low angle, very far horizon type of landscape with spaceships and things like that. It's something that's very common because typically, teenagers or adults, whatever, they love this kind of stuff. They love seeing something where they believe they can be, they feel that they can be a part of the image. What I mean by that is, for instance, since we use a low-angle camera, for us it's easy to imagine we're the ones watching from the point of view of the camera. Not sure you get what I mean.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
at the same time, of course, spaceships and sci-fi is a thing that a lot of people love. So I guess this is something we see a lot. This is why this year or last year we had a lot of sci-fi movies, action movies, I believe.
Mm-hmm. We had movies like Tom Cruise's Oblivion, and let's just see some other really high-profile ones as well.
Museum, for instance.
Yeah. They all kind of wrote a very similar theme. They're very atmospheric, and they brought a lot of visuals to the table, even if the story wasn't the strongest part of it. That was kind of the main selling point of these sci-fi films.
It's a lot. Again, it's a lot about the visuals. People are they love seeing high-profile sci-fi action movies where there's a lot of action and they can imagine the scene going on in front of them. Because it's very believable, with the graphics we have now.
A big part of it is about the graphics. It's a big part of why people go to see the movies. And which, touches back on the thing that sparks the imagination there. It takes people off to another world. And, and speaking of visuals, I got a tough one for you. Who is one of your favorite visual artists?
Right now, I would have to say Tom Tenry. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right. It's maybe Tom, maybe Tom. I'm not sure. But he released recently a big updated his gallery with new stuff from Oblivion, like as we were saying, and it's really high-profile images, and I love it because it mixes the production art, which is something we do, of course, in our field, with very realistic and artistic images. So even though it's images that are used for production and are meant to show design in a not so artistic way, are really meant to be functional, he really manages to pull them off or whatever. I'm not sure how to say that. But
I guess he bridges realism with the more fantasy style.
Exactly, and he manages, even the images he's showing that are not supposed to look always good. Well, what I'm saying is his designs look really beautiful, even though they're meant to be just production images.
How has your knowledge of famous artworks influenced your creative process?
I believe while watching a lot of images online, like you were saying, it influenced me in a way that there seems to be, sadly, a lot of themes that people like, and I think that influenced, sadly, my creativity. Like, there's a lot of themes that I end up doing a lot, so I try to step away from that and not look online or just go with my own ideas and try to come up with something new. But like I was saying, the usual low angle camera with spaceship and big landscape is something that I tend to be a lot inspired by and do a lot. But again, it's because people love this kind of stuff and they always appreciate this kind of images. In terms of process, I think seeing so much high-profile quality images recently has made me spend more time on images and try to make them more, try to build them more and not just sketch and go straight ahead. Plan more.
So it inspires you to continue to push your work.
Yes, exactly. It inspires me to put in more time, more detail, and basically just work more on image before publishing it and sharing it.
Thank you again for the interview, Geoffrey, and for sharing your time with us today.
Thank you very much for contacting me. I'm really glad, and thank you for all the nice comments on my work.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for watching. You can find Geoffrey Ernault's impressive portfolio again on cargocollective.com/extrafis, EXPHRASIS.